Super excited to be here today. Do you want to know why? Because two of the most important meetings in the world are happening this month. One already happened. Does anybody want to guess what it is? The World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland. And the other one is right here, right now. You know why? Because you're here. And just like in Switzerland, some of the greatest minds in the world were gathered together. And I venture to guess that there's some great minds here too. The other commonality is that in Davos, Switzerland, they were focusing on the top 5 soft skills that employers are searching today. My talk will be about the top 4 soft skills that I think are important to advance your career. Do you want to know what they are? I'm not going to tell you. Men, you're going to love this because they're compartmentalized. Women, you'll love this too when you see that they're all related, interrelated, interconnected. Number 1 skill that according to Warren Buffett, if you master this skill, you will enhance or boost your career to such a point that you could make 40% more income. And that is public speaking, which he was terrified of. How many of you are terrified of public speaking? Show me your hands. Don't worry, I'm not going to make you come up here. Guess what? It is the number 1 fear in the world. People getting up in front of a crowd. You know what number 2 was? Death. How could that be? Death. So be careful if you get invited to a funeral, because you don't know if you want rather be in the casket or give the eulogy. Now, Geno, how do you get good at public speaking? You look like you're a natural. We can't do that. And I say, 5 years ago, I was in your same seat. But I got like this because I practiced. And where is the best place that you can practice public speaking? Toastmasters International. For my dollar, that is the best organization. It is the oldest and largest organization that you've probably never heard of. It's going to be 95 years old in October this year. There are 360,000 members worldwide in 141 countries, organized by 16,000 clubs. You can find a club near you. Now, what are the benefits of Toastmasters besides speaking and practicing speaking? The practice of speaking is not in front of your mirror, not in front of your camera, not with your wife or spouse. It is actually with an audience, with a bunch of pair of eyes staring at you. And those eyes make you uncomfortable. And that's what you need to be practicing, to get comfortable on a stage. Other benefits are that you practice listening skills. People listen to respond. They don't listen to understand. Toastmasters helps you with your listening skills. They also help you with impromptu speaking. And impromptu speaking is important because how many of you have ever been to an interview? Do you know what the interviewer is going to ask you? No. No matter how much you practice. You have to be able to think on your feet and act quickly. But I'm going to relate it to the other soft skills. Toastmasters offers you the opportunity for leadership. You can be on the board. Just like many nonprofits, there's a board. And it's really difficult to lead people that are volunteering. You can't fire them if they don't do their job. So you get to practice leadership. A skill that can be practiced, it can be learned, but you have to work at it. And it does take some experience. What I tell the youngsters today, because I'm an adjunct professor at FIU, is that you cannot Google experience. They think they can Google everything. So leadership comes from experience. But leadership is really all about others. And the focus is on them, not you. The great late Dr. Martin Luther King, whose day we just celebrated last Monday, said, life's most persistent and urgent question is, what are you doing to serve others? Leadership is about one life influencing another in a good way. Leadership is about mentoring others. It's about acting as a role model for others. But most importantly, serving others. The next thing you can practice is mentorship, which is part of leadership. You need to mentor the folks that work for you. And you can learn that at Toastmasters as well. You are assigned a mentor to help you through your first 5 or 6 speeches. And in turn, later you become a mentor. Now, why is mentorship important? Because one good mentor could be more informative than a college education and more valuable than a decade's worth of income. It's a shortcut to your career, and it's a super important soft skill to learn. Mentorship is a duty for every generation. For there to be success, must mentor the next generation. Case in point, Berta talked about that I joined Toastmasters. It's going to be 5 years now, March 1st. And within the first 3 months, I brought 8 new members. So they said, we're telling you to be the president. That's called voluntel. And I became the president. I said yes. So that was one of my little secrets of the success, was to say yes to every opportunity that Toastmasters offered me. And it wasn't what Toastmasters could do for me, it's what I could do for Toastmasters and the person that I became during that process. I acted as the president of a fantastic club for 1 year, and then I was recruited and voluntold again to be the area director for 5 clubs for another year, 2 of the requirements to reach Distinguished Toastmaster. I also prepared, rehearsed, and delivered over 40 speeches and a couple other sundry requirements, and I achieved DTM in 39 months. Now let me show you the power of mentoring. There was a young gal in our club that was starting a business. She was finishing school. And she said, Geno, I need you to coach me and help me become a Distinguished Toastmaster as soon as possible. So I spoke with SB after a couple meetings, gave her a playbook for how to do it, and she did it in 29 months. You see the power of mentoring? Somebody showed you the way. It's like the difference between a travel agent and a tour guide. The travel agent just gets you the ticket and says, on your way, give me the money. The tour guide says, come here. You're going to stay at this hotel. You're going to go to this attraction, and you're going to eat at this restaurant. See the difference? And how mentoring can make a difference in other people's lives? And you learn that at Toastmasters as well. My fellow Toastmasters, Cindy, which you'll hear later today, and Berta, also approached me. How do we get to Distinguished Toastmaster? And ever since I earned it, I changed the acronym to mean devoted to mentoring. And I mentor these two fine ladies and partners of mine now, and they're well on their way to achieving DTM, the highest education award you can get in Toastmasters. The last item is networking. Remember, if you are not networking, you are not working. And you can get that at Toastmasters as well, because there's people that come from all walks of life, in every size, shape, color, from every generation, and you interact with them. Networking at Toastmasters. Now, networking, a lot of people think that it's more like sniper shooting. So you go to an event and you go, pow, 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 pow. Give me your card, give me your card, give me your card. And they collect cards. No. Networking is more like farming, where you go and spend time with a quality person. Spend quality time with that person. Get to know them. Ask them how you can help them. Ask them, hey, what does your client look like? How may I know what your typical client looks like? And then don't push your card. Don't give your card right away. Wait for them to ask if there's an interest. Now, what I do is when I collect the card, I go home and I look them up on LinkedIn. Everybody knows LinkedIn? I have 5,300 connections on LinkedIn. Who beats me? I know somebody's close over here. LinkedIn is the greatest professional networking program out there, and I cannot endorse it highly enough. I will take that person's card, I will look them up, and there's a way to send them a connection request, but with a note. And the note says, it was so great to meet you at that Inspire and Thrive event today. I look forward to spending more time with you. Love, the purple squirrel. To sum it up, did you see how they're interrelated? Public speaking, leadership, mentoring, networking, soft skills. Many of you already have hard skills. You know how to walk, you know how to breathe, you know how to read, write, and arithmetic. And some of you know computers. But the soft skills are what employers are looking for today. It's the things that are going to set you apart in business, whether you're self-employed or not. So remember, how many of you are employees of a firm? Employees? How many of you are self-employed? Okay, you know what that means? You have a job. And do you know who owns that job? The company owns the job. But who owns your career? You own your career. It's up to you to come up with a strategy to enhance your skills to advance your career. You take care of your career. Strengthening soft skills is one of the best investments you can make to advance your career, because soft skills never go out of style. I hope I've inspired you, persuaded you to take care of your career. Maybe I've educated you some. I can't possibly tell you everything about those top 4 skills, but you are aware of them now, correct? and I hope I entertained you. I heard some laughter. Namaste.